Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I'm going to answer a question I get asked all the time that I very, very rarely talk about, and that's nutrition. And the reason I say that is because nutrition is largely overrated. I'm not saying it's irrelevant, not saying it doesn't matter. It takes a backseat to your training as an athlete. And I will go so far as to say that as long as you're eating mostly whole foods, getting enough protein, getting the correct calories for your athletic needs. Notice I say athletes, I didn't even just say lifters, just across the board. Just call it across the board. And you are not micronutrient deficient. Anything else you do with your diet, you're trying to glean a few percentages of an improvement. Okay? You're going to get 99%, maybe 95%, depending on if you mess things up really bad. The total potential you're going to get from all nutrition just by doing those things. Hitting your target calories, focusing on whole foods, getting enough protein, not being deficient in anything. That's it. That's it. Everything else is chasing a small edge for an athlete. And I'm not talking about people who are trying to get shredded or ripped, because if you get shredded or ripped, it's going to kill your athleticism anyways. Most athletes don't need to be doing that. A few genetically gifted, rare individuals can do that, or with the right drugs, maybe in the right genes. I'm trying to get shredded, guys. So for performance overall, here's what I'm going to say. Athletes should combine the carnivore and the vegan diet. Actually, better yet, how about the carnivore and the vegetarian diet? Because I believe dairy is one of the absolutely most valuable things that any athlete can consume. I'm not saying everyone can drink milk. Not saying that that's possible. Some people can't. I get it. But dairy, there's other dairies, cultured dairy. Dairy is phenomenal. And I'll go so far as to say dairy is almost irreplaceable for athletes. You know what else is too? Probably fruits and vegetables. Now, someone is trying to not maybe get a lot of sugars or too many carbs. All right, I get it. You go with vegetables. But you need one of those two things in very large amounts. They're almost irreplaceable in your diet also. And people will argue on the both ends of these spectrums as to why there's nothing in there that you're required to have. Show me one nutrient. I can give you a whole list of nutrients, jackass. There's a reason people on those either extremes of the diet don't do particularly well in elite sports the majority of the time. Well, the majority of the time. Because they're cutting entire beneficial and massively beneficial food groups out that are important for health, important for recovery specifically. And when you start cutting entire food groups out, you're taking tools out of your toolbox. What do I say with training? We should never disregard a proven tool. Any tool that has been used by multiple elite level coaches and multiple elite level athletes, we need to be open-minded to it. Not saying we have to use it, but we shouldn't cut it from our toolbox. We should have it there available as a tool. And what's one of the other things I say all the time? We don't use exclusively one tool. So I have a big problem when it comes to training when someone says, I only do this. I'm only a calisthenics athlete. Well, you're a goddamn idiot is what you are. That's what you are. Just call it what you are. You're not a calisthenics athlete. You're a goddamn moron. Because you're working with a single training modality and you're not willing to use other tools. Well, best of luck sucking. He says, I only use barbells. Well, hey, that's probably a hair better. But you're a moron too. And the barbell is the single most versatile, useful tool we have in resistance training. It's a phenomenal tool. It's pretty much irreplaceable at this point. It's kind of why the calisthenics are a problem. But we have a lot of amazing training tools available. A lot of amazing training methodologies. You don't disregard the things that are proven to work or use just one. Say, this is all I'm going to do. Because I use one of the most eclectic training systems on demand. I use the conjugate method. We use every rep range. all the way to heavy maxes, dynamic. If we do dynamic work, speed work, plyometrics, general physical preparedness, all in the quest for strength. And tons of high rep work. We weave them all together. System we use bands, chains, everything. Everything. Weighted body weight movements. Specialty bars. We use everything. So let's come back over to nutrition. Why would you cut valuable tools out of your toolbox? I don't want to hear your stupid ethical reasons either. All right, when you start attaching morality to your food, you have an eating disorder. And I want to make that very, very clear. You're not going to convince me otherwise either. You have an eating disorder. Go seek help from a therapist. Veganism is an eating disorder. As far as I'm concerned, it's an eating disorder. And you have a moral attachment to your food. You have a very, very skewed and distorted view of the world. You don't have moral reasons to do that. Now, I might make the exception, say you might have a religious restriction to a specific food. That's fine, right? That's okay. That's different because it's not taking entire food groups out, generally. Now, if you have a religion that tells you that you need to remove entire food groups, your religion is stupid. Your religion is harmful to your health. And it's harmful to your athleticism, and being athletic is the best thing you can do for your health. That's a harmful religion to you. You might want to rethink that. And I'm being honest there. But cutting a specific animal out, probably not a big deal. Right? That's different than entire food groups. Because you're still going to eat other animals and other protein, and that's fine. But when you start placing a whole ethical belief system upon entire food groups, such as vegans do, it's a problem. It's a distorted view of the world. Same thing with some of the carnivore guys. We're just not going to eat vegetables or evil. Oh, Christ. You're an idiot. You're an idiot too. So let's come over the reality. Plants and animals are awesome. Combine them together. In fact, I'll go so far as to say, let's talk about dairy. Oh my God, dairy and plants. Yep. That's why the vegetarian can still be highly, highly successful with no drawbacks. They just happen to be eating dairy instead of meat. Yeah, you get the benefits, it's fine. Dairy has its own advantages. Dairy has its own advantages. And the only reason I don't discuss a lot of what I eat, because my diet rotates over time. And these days my diet would be extremely boring. And no, I'm not doing a day of eating. I'm not doing anything. I don't even have room in my kitchen in this particular place to even set up a camera. Like, I couldn't if I wanted to. Plus, I don't want to show my kitchen off. I don't want to have to scrub my kitchen spotless and declutter it just so people don't freak out. I don't want to do that. But I mean, my diet's boring. I only eat maybe 4 to 5 ingredients in a single day. When I say ingredients, I mean literally the ingredients, because I don't use sauces and stuff. I just cook foods. I cook meat and I cook plants and consume dairy. I don't combine 17 things together in a pot. Like, as complex as I get would be maybe grilled chicken that's been baked in my cast iron skillet in the oven going into the Instapot with brown rice and broccoli. That's about as complex as I get. That's the upper end. Everything else, I just eat one thing. Nothing complex about my diet. And I might have some dairy with that in the same day, or replace the brown rice with potatoes or whatever. There's not a big deal. Not complicated. And I perform pretty damn well for a dude in his 40s. You guys see me squatting well past 500, deadlifting well past 600, benching mid 300s, possibly going to end up getting towards 400. Be close to 400, I think, by the end of the year. I'm a 43-year-old dude. And I do conditioning work on top of it. I don't just lift, guys. I get out and I do conditioning. So, pretty good athleticism, and I don't have a complex diet, but I combine those things together. It's all been overhyped, though. People have all been told that diets and specific diets, and all these fine details are far more important than they are. Now, for things like gut health, for dealing with certain chronic medical issues, diet can become very, very important. I'll agree with that. But it's way, way more important for those things than it is for an athlete who's healthy. Okay? Way more complicated. And you know what? If you have medical issues, you shouldn't be consulting YouTube for your dietary advice. You need to be consulting a dietitian. I have friends who are dietitians. I'll be more than happy to refer you out some. If you need a nutritionist, a really good nutritionist, I can refer you guys some. You don't need to be going to YouTube for that, though. In fact, it's technically illegal for people to give you nutrition advice to treat your medical issues. If you were not aware of that. At least if you're in America and they're in America, they're breaking the law. And there's reasons for that. So, all things considered, the nutrition side's been overhyped. And it's been overhyped to sell people meal plans and to sell them products and supplements. That's why. Okay? Business. Business. It isn't as complicated as you've been told it is, to the point to where you need to spend hours and hours and hours hearing material on it. It's just not necessary for athletic purposes. You do it for your own personal health benefit research. That's different. And I would agree with that if that's what you're looking for. But your performance as an athlete, gaining muscle, things like that, gaining strength, speed, power, not that complicated. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.